So if you have bad credit such as old collections, there's a strategy on how to handle those and how to handle rebuilding yourself to get your score back on track so you're ready to buy a house. Now, what if I have been missing payments and I have collections? What do I do then? Well, doesn't mean you can't get a mortgage. So what that means is we got to analyze your credit first. And if you have a lot of collection activity, some of that older collection activity is actually not going to adversely affect your score as bad as, say, current late payments. So let's say you had some old collection activity from 2013, 2015, and you want to pay those off and settle them. Well, one thing that will happen is if you do pay those off, it will actually bring that 2015 negative to 2021. And what that means, that's a current negative, and a current negative is worse than an old negative because an old negative starts to fall off its ranking. So a current negative, even though it's a zero balance, can actually lower your score initially. Some people see this, they go, I paid off all my old collections and now my score went down, I don't understand. That's because those old accounts now became current accounts and they're current zero balances but negative because they showed they were a collection account or they were behind even though they're zero balance. So now they're current. So you have to wait a little bit of time for those to drop back and then your score will rebound. But what happens sometimes is folks will pay that stuff off right before they apply for a mortgage and their score drops. That's why it's good to talk to your lender and have them analyze your credit to help you navigate your best strategy on managing your credit if you have some issues. The number one thing I would advise you to do at this point is maintain good payment history from this point forward. If you don't have a payment history to work off of, then you can always get a secured credit card, and there's a number of them you can get out there. There's a Capital One and Citi, Chase has one, so there's a multitude of secured credit cards. What those are is you make a deposit and they issue you a line of credit based off of how much you deposit. And then you just keep those balances low or at zero, and over time, they will help rebuild your score up because they're building a positive history. Now, we also see on some of those credit apps, boost my score. What is that? Well, that's kind of a gimmick. And so basically what they're doing is they say, send us a phone bill and we'll add it to your credit and add the payment history to boost your score. Well, what happens is when we pull it into our system, that doesn't reflect. So if you're wanting to boost your score, get with your lender because we have strategies to help you boost your score. And these will actually reflect in your FICO score that is used in lending. Okay, let's review a few things. So the Vantage score on those credit apps that you see, that is an average score. That is not gonna be what the lender is using. So if you see you have a 720 on there, more than likely you don't have a 720 in the FICO world that we pull in. The basics of credit, they're looking at how long you've had it, how your payment history is, and your balances. Those are the basics of it. If you have bad credit, it can be easily turned in a different direction. It just takes a little work. And it's always a good idea to get an idea of what is on your credit. And you can get a free report every year from annualcreditreport.com. That won't come with a score. You'll have to pay to get a score. But again, those scores are gonna be your Vantage scores anyway. If you pull this data down, share it with your loan officer because they can look at it and give you a really good idea of what you can do and what you can't do. Sometimes credit isn't a fast track, but if you do it right, then it can help you get better rates, better programs, better everything when you have the better scores. Hope this all helps a little bit to help you understand the mystery of credit. And stay tuned for my next video, which is going to be on closing cost.